Two brothers who blasted a mum with a shotgun through her window as she prepared a cottage pie in her kitchen during a botched murder plot have been jailed for a total of 48 years. Emma Robinson was preparing food at her home in Newcastle on October the 3rd, 2020, when she heard a loud bang, saw breaking glass, and felt sudden pain. Newcastle Crown Court heard she did not realise she'd been the target of an intended killing and had shotgun pellets embedded in her body until she went into a walk-in centre the following day. 2 days later, Jordan King was also shot at his home, about a mile away in the same suburb. Thomas Lee, who's 21, and James Lee, who's 27, carried out the shootings because they were cross as a result of a previous argument with the victims or their families. A jury found the siblings, who had long criminal records, both guilty of attempted murder of Emma Robinson, but not guilty of the attempted murder of Mr. King, who is their cousin. They were both found guilty of attempting to wound Mr. King with intent. James Lee admitted an unrelated child cruelty charge and dangerous driving. He was convicted of possessing ammunition when prohibited. Thomas Lee admitted to possessing a firearm while prohibited and unrelated charges of assault of a special constable, racial harassment, assaulting a PC, and possessing cannabis. In a victim statement, Ms. Robinson said her physical injuries have healed, but she has been left with scars which make her feel self-conscious. She said she now has to take sleeping tablets and added, "The reason I have trouble sleeping is when I'm alone at night. I keep thinking about what could have happened and how much worse my injuries could have been." The court heard she no longer stands near or looks out of her windows and feels so nervous when she hears the loud bang that she has to stay in her home when there are fireworks. She said, "I keep thinking to myself, what would have happened to my children if my injuries had been any worse?" Judge Penny Morland sentenced the siblings to 24 years each behind bars. Thomas Lee was given an additional 4-year extended license period for the protection of the public after being branded a dangerous offender. The shooting had a significant adverse impact on Miss Robinson and told the men, "By their verdict, the jury indicated that you were sure you both intended to kill her that night." The court heard that Miss Robinson had been in the kitchen of a one-bedroom flat when she was targeted. The prosecutor said she was making a cottage pie. She heard a loud noise which she said was simultaneous to a bang and the sound of breaking glass. She felt something hit the side of her face. There was glass everywhere. She turned around and she was hit in the back and she did not know what had happened. The court heard she could see lots of little black things on the kitchen floor, which turned out to be pellets from a shotgun. She went to the walk-in centre the next day for treatment to her injuries. The prosecutor said when she was there, she was told these looked like shotgun wounds. At the time, it simply shocked her, but as the information sank in, she realised how serious this was. The court heard Miss Robinson had injuries from shotgun pellets and flying glass to her face, just above her right eye, her arm, back, and behind her ear. The prosecutor said the brothers planned to commit these offences together and added each of them were part of a plan to shoot Mrs. Robinson, and each of them knew that part of the plan was to fire at her with a gun. In the circumstances, it doesn't matter who pulled the trigger. Each defendant is as guilty as the other. The prosecutor said it appears Ms. Robinson was shot because Thomas Lee and another man had been involved in an argument with her son. The court heard Mr. King did not make a witness statement about what happened to him. The defence solicitor Jason Pitter said Thomas Lee was of a young age at the time of the offences and has a desire to desist from offending. And the defence for James Lee said he had no previous convictions for serious violence on his record. After the case, Detective Chief Inspector Jane Fairlamb of Northumbria Police said both brothers hatched a complicated plan to carry out these two shootings, using various vehicles to disguise their movements with the aim of avoiding detection. Guns are not toys. They knowingly and willingly pulled the trigger in an attempt to kill a mum in her home, as well as injure a second man after a suspected falling out. Incidents involving firearms are thankfully rarer in this region, but when they do occur, this case shows that Northumbria Police are committed to using every tactic at their disposal in order to secure effective justice and put the perpetrators behind bars. Absolute madness, guys. So 2 brothers from South Shields have been jailed for a total of 48 years for attempted murder of a woman as she was blasted with a shotgun while she was making a cottage pie in her kitchen. Let me know what you guys think. It's your boy GT. Keep it locked, keep it real.